It turns out that in the entire Torah, comprised of 5,852 verses, there are only 3 that are actually biblically commanded for us to hear once a year. The 3 sentences are traditionally read on the Shabbat before Purim because they deal with the struggle of the Jewish people against the nation of Amalek, our eternal struggle against this enemy. And the thinking is that Haman, the enemy in the Purim story, is a descendant of Amalek, so we read it then. So let me read you the 3 sentences that are the only sentences out of the entire Torah that are biblically commanded for us to be read and for us to hear. Remember what Amalek did to you on your way out of Egypt. When they encountered you on the way and you were tired and exhausted, they cut off those lagging to your rear, and they did not fear God. Therefore, when God gives you peace from all the enemies around you in the land that God your Lord is giving you to occupy as a heritage, you must obliterate the memory of Amalek from under the heavens. You must not forget. The reason I want to cite these sentences now is because it actually comes from our Parsha this week of Ki Teitzei, which among many, many, many other things deals with Jewish behavior during war. What is it about these sentences that are so potent that we hear them, are obligated to hear them at least once a year? Well, a lot of people attribute it to the fact that whether it's Amalek or another enemy, the Jews need to be vigilant against people who seek to destroy us. And that's a really, really important lesson. But I'm not so sure that's why we have to hear it once a year above all the other thousands of sentences in the Torah. So I looked at this and for the first time, I saw something I never saw before. And I asked this question with trepidation because it doesn't make the Jewish people look so good. The Torah says that the reason we despise Amalek so much is because opposed to other enemies with whom we've battled, they did not confront us from the front as a brave enemy. They attacked us from the rear, and they attacked our weakest members of the community who were straggling behind us. And it occurred to me to ask, Amalek, they're villainous. There's no question about it. But what does it say about us as a people that we allowed for people to straggle behind us? That they were left behind, vulnerable to attack. Maybe some of this is on us. And so I asked some of my friends about it because I didn't see anything in the classical commentaries or in the Talmud. And Rabbi Erwin Kula from Klal responded to me immediately. He told me about a teaching of Rabbi Mordechai Yitzchak Levi of the 18th century who says, the Jewish people have something to account for here. Because when the Torah refers to these people as acharecha, behind us, what's implied is that we thought of them as acher, different. And what the commentary is saying is that when we think of people as different and we let them lag behind us, then we are vulnerable to attack. What gives us the power of a united Jewish community is precisely that, to be united, to embrace everybody, to make sure that nobody is left behind. That's why this portion begins with Zachor. Remember what Amalek did to you. But it ends with Lo Tishkach, don't forget. Remember what Amalek did to you, but don't forget what made you vulnerable in the first place. Don't forget the people behind you. This is what our Jewish community does through our federation, through our synagogues, through our agencies. Every day, we try to bring these 3 sentences to life. Not the part only about remembering Amalek, but the more important part, the part that makes it the biblical obligation for us to hear at least once a year, to remind us we are not whole unless everybody's included. Shabbat Shalom.